I've noticed is that God has been just placing these awesome people in my life,
Mm-hmm.
and then it kind of hit me like that's where my prayer that's how God's been answering my prayers specifically as of late. It's just whether it's somebody I've just met recently or people that I've sort of been closer to as of late, like yourself, just kind of hearing the things that you have going on and like folks that you kind of lose a little bit of touch with or you catch up. Some people I catch up with and I'm like, dang, selfishly I want to stay close to them because I just love that energy and love like what they're doing and it inspires me.
Okay.
It's like, shoot, let me make sure I check in and just because they always doing something dope. And I'm like, I want to hear because I want to be inspired by that. So
Absolutely.
I consider you part of that, as far as your mission, your evolution, and your role.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we talked about it last week, or like you had some iffy times, right? And then you came out of it, and then now just to see kind of your growth. It's
Thank
just
you.
yeah, it's
No,
it's
go
it's good
ahead.
to see. Yeah,
Thank you. And I appreciate that. And it was iffy. And I did. And in that growth came reflection, self-reflection. So I was so busy pointing at what was wrong. I was really what was wrong because I was not responding well to what was happening.
mm-hmm.
And if it was so wrong, you
You should have
know,
said something.
I did say something, but even in that, it wasn't necessarily the right response, or maybe the tone wasn't
Yeah,
right. So I had to learn a lot about me, how I
yeah,
respond to things, and my response triggers the response that I get. So it's not triggered due to lack of knowledge or, lack of interest or being threatened or any of those
yeah,
things. It is more so related to my response to whatever it is, right?
yeah,
So that from that, I learned how, what I considered to be what was most important to me wasn't necessarily most important to someone else. And even though what I thought was most important to me was important for the institution, even though it was important, that my agenda was not the agenda to follow. It was the agenda of the institution, and how what I can bring to that can marriage the two together,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So, in any HR professional's heart of hearts, they want their institutions to be solid in terms of compliance. They want them to have exceptional training programs. They want their managers to be empowered. They want them to be effective, and even though those are my goals, it's also the institution's goals, but how we get to them, right? Because we also have to meet the institution's objectives.